Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this. Tre Mitchell entered the portal, and the second he entered the portal, I think we all kind of heard the same thing, right? Kentucky, Kentucky, Kentucky. So, Fana, since we spent 2 hours talking about Kentucky yesterday,
I was about to say, you guys are the most popular guys in Lexington.
Yeah, hey, look, you know what? They hated us, but now they love us, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know if they love us. They grew to like being okay with us.
They grew to tolerate. They grew to tolerate you.
Tio, one guy called in and said that why do I want to hear about Kentucky basketball takes from Drew Carey's sister?
How good is that?
That's a pretty good one.
You know what's good? When you get insulted, and we all have gotten the heat, like when you get insulted, you can laugh at it. That was funny.
Yeah,
that was funny. That was a good one.
Yeah. I've had some too. I can't think of them.
Yeah, you're bald.
Yeah, it's easy. But you got to be creative. You can't just come out and be like, yeah, shut up, you're bald. And
you're the less athletic of your spouses.
That's right. That is a fact. Apparently,
it is funny when people jump in the comments and have something to say about CZ Binance and Bitcoin.
Yeah, how about that? That was a good one too. Yeah. That one worked.
Yep. All right, Fana, give me your take. Tre Mitchell, Antonio Reeves. They are both going to be on the Kentucky roster next year. There may be another freshman that is committing here soon, but now there is actually some veteran presence there. How much does this change Kentucky?
Well, we have Kentucky commenters on YouTube today, and they're actually fighting with Memphis fans, which we love. Maybe we'll talk about Penny Hardaway at some point in this hour. Why not? Here's the thing. I love it. Frankly, they needed it. Kentucky needed this. If Kentucky does not get Tre Mitchell and they don't have Antonio Reeves return, the offseason is viewed as nothing but a failure, in my opinion. Because 18-year-olds can't do it alone. They can't do it by themselves in today's college basketball climate. I don't care how great they are. In Mitchell, you get a guy who turns 23 in September. He'll be the oldest guy on the team. He's seen it all. It is his fourth school in 5 years. Now, sometimes there's two sides of that story too. But this is a guy that in the Big 12 averaged about 12 and 6 or so. He'll provide length. He'll serve a role. He'll start. Antonio Reeves is a guy who had 20-plus points in the NCAA tournament against Providence. Yesterday, Big Blue Nation was questioning if he would start next year. He will start. Because you need him. You need him badly. You needed his perimeter shooting. The fact is, Aaron Bradshaw's status is up in the air heading into this season. This foot fracture injury, it gets everybody concerned. And then you start to wonder, T.O., if his circle will get concerned about him playing in a college basketball space when he's got a great pro career ahead of him. Robert Dillingham, DJ Wagner, there's questions about how all that pans out. In Mitchell and Reeves, on a team with questions to answer, Kentucky got a couple of guarantees in experience and some perimeter shot making. This is needed welcome news for John Calipari, and it's a nice charge of momentum here in late June.
I think Tre Mitchell's a fine player. He's not Oscar Tshiebwe. Let's be about it. I think Tre Mitchell's a fine player. He's not Jordan Brown, who just went to Memphis. So, let's keep it in perspective. He's a good player. They need a veteran presence inside that's going to talk and do all those little things that you would hope would foster some winning. This is not this uber talent. He's not Oscar. I hate to say it. He's a good player. He's not Oscar. Antonio Reeves coming back is huge simply because they need that space. Is Reed Sheppard going to be able to play early in his career? And quite frankly, I think he can play. Is Cal going to let him play? So that's a big thing too. We all know that shooting is not necessarily a prerequisite to playing time for Cal. So the roster makeup still interesting. I wonder is there anybody left? Can they get anybody else? Like that's kind of
I don't think that they necessarily need anybody else. And I don't think there's anyone else in the portal that makes a ton of sense. Obviously, like getting Javon Quinterly would help because he's a guy that is a proven starter in the SEC. But I don't know if you want to add another piece in there that's going to block the path to minutes for DJ Wagner and Robert Dillingham. I said this yesterday on KSR. I think what this addition does is significantly raise the floor for Kentucky, right?
Yeah.
Without these two fifth-year seniors, there's very real, like, the bottom could fall out, disaster potential on this team if Aaron Bradshaw's injury ends up being something that forces him to have like a Nick Smith kind of a year, right? If DJ Wagner and Robert Dillingham can't fit together, if there's not enough spacing for Justin Edwards to be able to get to the rim, it could be a mess without those two. With those two, you got a floor spacing big that averaged 12 and 6 in the Big 12. At minimum, he's a guy that is going to be a double-digit scorer, going to get some rebounds, going to take up 25 to 30 minutes on the front court as a solid piece, good enough piece. Antonio Reeves averaged 15 a game in the SEC last year. It's not a point guard, but he is a floor spacer, and he is a guy that can go out and do things like get 37 like he did against Arkansas last year. This makes you not have to worry about the adjustment of the freshmen as much early in the season. It takes some of the pressure off of them having those two guys there, and you get two guys that can space the floor. I think that these are nice additions. Neither of them are stars. I don't think that this necessarily makes Kentucky anywhere near a preseason top 10 team. I'd have them in that like 19 to 22 range. I don't know if you guys disagree.
I can see that, yeah.
But it allows you some time to be able to let DJ Wagner figure it out, let Robert Dillingham figure it out, let Justin Edwards figure it out, and let Aaron Bradshaw get to the point where he's fully healthy. And I think that that's what you needed more than anything else. So they're going to be good. I think they're probably 5th in the SEC, but that's better than, they could have been 10th in the SEC.
Behind Tennessee, Arkansas, Texas A&M,
Alabama.
And Alabama. Interesting.
And then I wonder who's going to slow these guards down when it gets out of hand sometimes, because we like Robert Dillingham. He's a competitor now, but he's 5'11", $150, dripping wet. Like he's not the biggest guy. DJ Wagner, like, is he a pure point guard? Neither one of those guys are in the mold of like an Eric Bledsoe or a John Wall, which I think that's going to be the first inclination when you have these highly touted kids. It wasn't a great class by and large. These are still two very, very good players. I'm curious to see how that goes. I've always been a big proponent of the settle down guy who's going to be the guy to calm you down. Is Antonio Reeves going to be that guy? He's going to bring it up to court for him. Like, he's going to have to a little bit. I can assure you he will a little bit, but like,
he's going to bring it up the court and he's going to fire it with 8. He's a shooter, T.O.
Yeah, I know that, but you're going to have to get somebody to slow him down a little bit. I'm curious to know how it goes. I mean, DJ's a very good player. He's not like, I remember when his dad came to Memphis. Like, Fanta, I think you were like 6 or 7 years old when that happened. But when his dad came to Memphis, like, his dad was a bull.
Hey,
like,
did I ever tell you
DeJuan had shoulders like this? Like, DJ's not quite built like that.
Have I ever told you my DeJuan Wagner story, T.O.?
Well, he scored like 1,000 points in a game.
Well, we played him in an AAU tournament. Like, we had a pretty good AAU. We had a kid go to LaSalle. We had a bunch of kids go D1. Tim Abramitis, who played at Notre Dame, was 2 years younger than me in the program.
You guys were the Atlanta Timberwolves of Northeast AAU basketball, and if you were on the scene, you'd know what I was talking about. Like a bunch of mid and lows, and then you have some other guys sprinkled in. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
like we were good enough, and so we play DJ Wagner's team at a hoop group event. I want to say it was at Villanova. I can't remember if it was Villanova or West Virginia. We went to one of both of them. Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water, or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks. But it was like the group play, right?
Yeah.
And so we play him, and like DeJuan doesn't show up in the first half. And we're playing his team. We're hanging in there. We're down by like 7 in the first half, and I think we're down by like 8 at halftime or something like that. Like, we're close. We're keeping it respectable against the team with a bunch of dudes. And he shows up at halftime, right? Shows up. He's got like the Timbs on untied. He's got like the jean shorts over the. Remember how guys back in the day used to wear jean shorts over their basketball shorts,
just in
right?
case.
Just in case. So he takes off the Timbs, he takes off the jean shorts, he puts on his basketball shoes, checks in, puts up like 35 in the first 8 minutes of the second half. We're down by 30, checks himself out, and leaves before the game is over. And I was just like, okay, you know what? That is a different level of basketball player than I can ever be. I need to take a reality check right here. Maybe media is my my avenue in life.
Yeah. There were guys who can do that. Like Tyreek Evans could do that.
Just a freak, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, go ahead. Finish your point.
Certain guys are different. I already forgot it. Don't worry about
it. All right. So Fanta, what is real quick, give me 1 minute on the ceiling for this Kentucky team with Reeves and Mitchell.
Well, I think that they are a preseason top 25 team, somewhere between like 22 and 25. I don't think they're a top 20 team. I think there's still too many things for them to figure out. I think a lot of what their ceiling depends on is whether or not Aaron Bradshaw is good to go.
Yeah.
Because John Calipari has said that he believes that Bradshaw, before they return, of the freshmen, he believes Bradshaw could be the best shooter of the group.
Who said that?
John Calipari. Those are his words.
Best shooter of the group of DJ Wagner, Robert Dillingham, and Justin Edwards. So he's not exactly saying that he has like a bunch of guys that are going to be in the 3-point shooting contest.
That already tells me he's already forgotten about Reed Shepherd.
Yep.
Right.
He's already forgot about him. So like that scares me a little bit because Reed can play.
Well, exactly, Tio. And I think that the question then is like, we felt this with North Carolina last year of playing time, and maybe certain guys should have gotten a look or an opportunity that did not. I know you had strong feelings about that, but the fact is that I always wonder how you manage the freshman class from a standpoint of how much are you willing to go through some growing pains with certain guys that just need some time. But the best thing that could be is to play them, to give Shepherd the opportunity to make some shots. I don't know about that. This comes down to Bradshaw and his health. If Bradshaw's foot fracture lingers, has lingering effects, and causes him to miss significant periods of time, and causes him to be in a situation where it's like Nick Smith of Arkansas this past year, as you brought up eloquently yesterday, Mr. Doster, then I don't know. Like, I get very cautious with what I think that they're going to be. Do I think that this is a team that can make the Sweet 16? Well, there's a pool of about 35 that you feel like could do that in today's college basketball. So yeah, maybe. But do I think that this is a Final Four team? I don't think so.
Can I just throw out that I think Aaron Bradshaw is going to be a better pro than he's going to be a college player?
Yeah.
I think you're right.
You want to know why?
Because Cal's going to put him on that dunker spot.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
Why.
But there's two big X factors for this team beyond Aaron Bradshaw. And by the way, real quick, T.O., do you know who reps Aaron Bradshaw?
Rich Paul
and Clutch. Okay.
So he's going to be staying at the beach house that Nick Smith was staying in last year.
That's what I was about to say. Do you know who rep Nick Smith? Rich Paul. Clutch. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. To me, there's two X factors beyond Bradshaw's foot. One is like, what do these freshmen end up being? How good is Justin Edwards really? What is the level of development for Dillingham and Wagner?
They're very good.
Like do they buy into
they're very good freshmen, but like you're playing against 30-year-olds now in today's college game. Like
do they buy into the idea that like you need to kind of be De'Aaron Fox and Malik Monk, you need to kind of have like complementary roles, or do they both kind of overlap and try to do the same thing and cancel each other out? But I think that the ceiling is there. Like if all those freshmen end up hitting their ceiling, they're going to have a chance to be really good. The other thing, and I said this yesterday, Fanta, like, is Cal going to run some offense that isn't from like 2007? Like, is he going to get creative at all? Is there going to be anything new? Because when you look at it, in a best case scenario, you could have Antonio Reeves, who's a really dangerous guy running around screens. You could have Tre Mitchell, who is a 6'9", 4/5 that can make threes, and Aaron Bradshaw, who's a 7-footer that can make threes. Like, you can get really creative and space the floor and have some fun, different looks offensively. And I just don't trust him to actually do that. Like, to me, that's the biggest thing with this team. I don't trust him to do it.
But here's the thing so I think, and T.O., I'd be curious to get your thoughts on this, of course, Rob, too. Like,
we don't care about Rob's thoughts.
We do. We care a lot about Rob's thoughts.
No, I'm the Fanta, I'm the host today. I don't have opinions. I'm the host.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go. I messed that up.
You don't have opinions? No. So here's the thing. Here's my thing.
Fanta, there was a joke that I was going to make right there, but I'm just going to let this one slide. I'm just going to let it slide.
We'll talk about that at Pete's Jam. So T.O., like, do you think that because Cal said this, he said that the personnel that he's got coming in will allow for him to play the way he really wants to play?
You know what's funny? I was about to make that point. Like, this roster that he's put together with these young players are kind of where he's had the most success.
Right.
Like, dribble drive.
Doesn't that make you chuckle, Terrence, just because, like, you're in control of that?
Yeah, I think they got caught behind the 8 ball because they were like, shit, we got to get old. And then he was getting a bunch of good college players that were good in offenses. Like, he tried something different, didn't really work. And now he's going back to what he's comfortable with. That was kind of going to be my next point. Like, yeah, you're right. He was in control of it, but they were getting beat by teams that had a bunch of old guys. So he's like, well, why wouldn't I just go and pick out the oldest guys I can get with the best stats? And you look at some of those guys, like, you know, Severe Wheeler was really good in a certain system. Like, CJ Frederick was really good in a certain system. Like, you know, some of these different guys, like Oscar Sheboy obviously had success, but not necessarily the rim protector that he's had at the 5. I feel like this group is more along the lines of what he's used to. And while I don't believe that it'll be the deepest team he's ever had, sometimes that's a positive, because now the guys that are in that locker room know who's going to play. And there's not really a whole lot of debate whether this guy should be playing or shouldn't be playing. I came here for this, and then this is happening to me. Like, they're getting some 3- and 4-star guys here on the back end of this recruiting cycle. And I think sometimes it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a clear pecking order and to have guards that can really create with Wagner and Dillingham. So the only thing is they're so young in a college game right now that's really old. That's literally my only issue with this roster.
Yep. And I do think that there is the foundation for some kind of interesting long-term 3- and 4-year guys in someone like a Reed Shepherd, and someone like an Adou Thoreau, and someone like Ugana Onyeso, I think is how you pronounce it. I always struggle with names, so don't mind me if I got that one wrong. Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.